Hello everyone, welcome to the Archipelago live stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. I can see there's a few people here already. Lauren over in northern Kentucky, almost a warm day, very nice, very nice. Adrito in Edinburgh, what a beautiful place. Yunet's tuning in from Soyuz, BC, very nice. Ashley from Denver, thank you for joining. So welcome to the Archipelago live stream. I'm Liam, one of the developers here at Archipelago, where we make Lightroom presets and creative profiles for photographers. And in this live stream, we're going to be editing with a new set that's going to be landing at the beginning of March, 1st of March. And this is the latest in our Quest series of presets. And this one is an instant film black and white set. So very excited to show you this incredible set, amazing effects, really pushing the boundaries of what Lightroom can do, which you'll see shortly. So we've got some incredible images that we're gonna be editing with today, as you can see. But also a great opportunity just to kind of connect as well. If you have any questions about our presets, our tools, using Lightroom, anything like that, do chime in the chat. It's great to hear from you. If you have questions, we're happy to help if we can. But I'll showcase the set. This one, like I said, comes out at the beginning of March, so not too long to wait. Incredible set of black and white presets, and this is actually a sister set to a previous set that we did, which was Quest 11, which was an instant film inspired set as well, but this one's entirely black and white. We also like to do giveaways during these live streams as well. So we'll be giving away a few of these Quest sets to our lucky people that are tuning in for the chat. If you're here live, just interact in the chat as we go through the stream, and we'll be selecting a few people to win this set at the end of the stream. Or if you're already a Quest subscriber, we can substitute that with another set. So yeah, this set, as I mentioned, is an instant film inspired set, entirely black and white, with some incredible tools included, which we'll go through and look at in a moment. And this will come out on the 1st of March. This is available as part of our subscription series. So Quest is a subscription series that you can subscribe to for $8 a month, and you can download these presets for free. So the current month's presets are free and included. Or if you're not interested in subscribing, you can buy these as standalone presets directly from archipelagopresets.com. So I can see a few people here. Ola, hey, South Dakota, thanks for tuning in. Rodeo Ready, that's a great name. Hello from New Orleans, incredible, people all over the place. I love this. So we've done these live streams for a while now, actually. This is the first one we're hosting directly on YouTube. So we may get some people joining that don't know much about Archipelago. So if you are new, just say hey, let us know where you tune in from, and interact in the chat as we go through this and do these live edits. So we've got these 10 incredible images that we're going to be editing with today. And what I'll do first of all, just going to talk you through the set, what presets are included, the effects that are there as well. And then we'll go through each of these 10 images and we'll edit with those presets. I can answer any questions you have as we go along. And also, like I said, at the end of the stream, we'll be giving away a few of these sets. So do stick around and make sure you interact in the chat, and we'll be picking someone to win at the end of the stream. All right, so let's dive into this first image here. Just before we start kind of looking through the set, I'll just mention in the top left, you're going to see the photographer's name, so in this case, Casey Jones. And you can also see the settings that we use to capture the image. So if you want to know what the focal length of the lens is, or what the settings were for, ISO and aperture and anything like that, it's all up in the top left there. A big thank you to the photographers that submitted images. We're always blown away by how incredible some of these photos are, and just gives us the opportunity to showcase the sets in the best possible way. So big thank you. So we're going to be editing with Archipelago Quest 14. As I mentioned, this is an instant film black and white preset collection. You've got 6 presets and 2 additional tools in there. And this set it's incredible. It's probably one of the most impressive one-click preset packs I've ever used. You'll see in a minute when I hover over the presets just how much of an impact they have in one simple click. It's incredibly impressive, and it uses a lot of the new masking tools that are included in the latest versions of Lightroom and Adobe Camera Raw. Brooke says super excited for this set. Absolutely. All right, so let's just showcase the presets first of all. So AQ14.1 instant film black and white. I'm not going to adjust anything on the image. I think the exposure and the white balance are pretty much bang on for this photo. White balance doesn't have a massive bearing when you're editing black and white, but it does have a little bit of an effect. So it's still worthwhile just making sure that's correct before you apply the presets. But I think this is looking good, so I'm not going to adjust anything just yet. But let's take a look at the presets. So AQ14.1 instant film black and white. And look at that, like I said, one click of the preset and it's an incredible transformation. It's using the new masking tools, like I said, in Lightroom and Adobe Camera Raw, the latest versions, and it includes things like the border. You have sort of effects over the top, so it has shadow effects that emulate the look of instant film, smudges, all sorts of amazing stuff. So it's very, very impressive in just one click. So that's AQ14.1 instant film. AQ14.2, we have this nice black border. I love this. I love the fact it's not sort of perfectly straight the whole way around. We kind of have a bit of a slant, which definitely gives that really authentic look to the instant film vibe. AQ14.3, we've got these amazing smudges that you can see along the background, just like little balls of light. Again, very authentic, and this incredible sort of edging effect around it. AQ14.4, absolutely stunning. Some more of those smudges in the background there, slightly different sort of shadowing and effect around the edge, but really nicely frames the image. AQ14.5, a little bit of a cleaner look, slightly warm toned. We've got this nice simple white border there around the image. And then AQ14.6, love this one. This possibly is one of my favorites in the set. You can see there's some dust on there. There's a couple of scratches along the bottom of the image there as well as this nice black border around the edges. We then also have two tools in here. We've got blue filter and orange filter, and these are basically a way of adjusting each of these presets to either be warm toned or cool toned. So you can apply the preset and then you can just choose to have a blue filter or an orange filter. So I'll show you that in just a moment. So let's go ahead and edit this image. So let's go for AQ14.1, first preset in the set. And like I said, one click, we go from that to that, which is incredible. We've got the instant film black and white creative profile. So that's applied as default. You'll find this in the top of the basic panel if you're new to profiles. They're a great way of adjusting a particular element within the stylistic look of the preset. So in this case, it's going to apply a certain amount of instant film look. So I'll show you this. So if I drag this to the left, we go for a much more sort of clean, a lot more detail in there. And then as we drag it to the right, it shifts the tonality, it crushes the shadows and the highlights, and it just shifts it across to be much more of that instant film look. So with this, you can just dial that across and it'll be adjusting multiple things at the same time, but in one simple slider. So that's the power of creative profiles. So like I said, as default, it's set to 100. So you get a nice balanced amount of that instant film look, but you can drag that to the left to clean it up and get a little bit of a sharper image, or drag it to the right and get a much more intense look in terms of that stylistic look. I think it looks really nice for this. I'm going to increase it a little bit. So I'm going to set it to 130. And then, like I mentioned, we have the blue filter and the orange filter. So this is the default preset. This is with blue filter, and this one is with orange filter. So again, really nice way of pushing it either to a cool toned or a warm toned black and white. So I think for this, I'm going to leave it as the default and neutral look. But what we'll do, I'll dive into the mask panel and I'll show you what's going on in here. So lots and lots of stuff is happening, as you can see. So Richard, who created this, has meticulously recreated the look of instant film in each of these presets. And that's been done through this masking panel. But because it's now this really extensive masking tool, we can actually go in and adjust a lot of these. So you can see we've got each of the layers here, multiple different things in each layer. And you can hover over the little thumbnail to see it sort of highlights in red the area that affects. So this top one here is the border around the bottom and edges of the image. So if I give that a click, And then I can actually come down, and let's say for this, if I wanted to, if this bottom border, which is a little bit bigger than the rest of the image, again, very authentic to instant film, but let's say if I wanted to change the size of this border, I can now click on this particular mask and I can drag it up or down. So again, if I wanted to have this sort of a little bit lower down so it doesn't impede on the image as much, I can set that there. And then the same thing applies with all the rest of the tools. So as I hover through each of these, you've got the mask for the top, which is this one here. So we can bring that up and make that a little bit thinner at the top there, give it a little bit more breathing room. But then we've also got all of these sort of like shadowing effects and smudge effects as well. So you can see sort of like here, there's these little smudge effects, which again, really, really authentic to instant film. But if this was sort of placed in an area that was obstructing the subject or just in the way, you can select the mask and you can either drag these around all as one, like this, or you could actually go click on the mask and go into each of the radial filters, and then you can just select one and move that particular one. So if say like this was placed in the wrong place and you want to kind of relocate it or resize it or change the amount of the effect, you can simply click on it in the mask panel and you can adjust it there. So loads of control, tons and tons of flexibility. You could simply hide it by pressing the little eyeball, and that's just going to hide those particular edits. But what an amazing way of creating something as stylistic as this in one click. Really, really impressive. Blows me away every time I use these. So that's AQ14.1 Instant Film Black and White. We've increased the Instant Film Black and White profile, and we've had a quick play around with the mask tools there. I've not used the blue filter or the orange filter for this. I like the natural tone of it. But there is the before, and there's after. I'll show you a little side by side. One click magic, says Lauren. Absolutely. Gosh, that's magical. Brooke says the borders are so neat. Yes, they are incredible. Love it with the orange filter. Brooke says, let's go for that then. Let's apply the orange filter. Nice little bit of warming. I have a tendency to quite like warm toned black and whites as well. So the orange filter gets a lot of use from me. All the masking is genius. Yes, absolutely. I just arrived. How did you get the frame? Great question. Well, it's part of the presets. So when you apply one of these presets, it includes all of this masking that emulates the look of instant film. So the borders, the smudges, the dust and scratches, the various different presets have different stylistic look, but all of them include the masks. If you decided you didn't want this on the image, you can go into the masking tool. Like I said, you can adjust the individual ones, but you can actually just choose this option here to delete all masks, and that will just remove all of them, or you can simply switch them off with this little button here. And that's just going to look at the black and white preset and the creative profile, but without the masking. But it adds so much to the image. I love the way that these look. Incredibly unique. Really, like I said, pushing the boundaries of what Lightroom is capable of doing, which is very, very exciting for us photographers. All right, so one image down. We've got nine more incredible images to edit with. So we'll dive in and kind of edit another one in there. I'll probably just go through these in the order that you see here. But if there is a particular image that you want to see next, just let me know and I can do that. Happy to prioritize. But yeah, just reinforce if you have questions as we go through this. Ask away. If it's something that I spot and I can answer, I'll try and answer that on the stream. But I've got some of my lovely colleagues here at Archipelago in the chat as moderators as well, so I'm sure they can answer if there's a question that I don't spot as well. All right, Brooke says, I'd love to see 10. Let's do it. Let's go for image number 10. Another one from Casey Jones. Incredible photo. So we've got this really, really nice, I love the kind of crop of this, the composition. Super nice, got the light bursting in from the top right there. So let's go ahead and increase the exposure just so that the subject is nicely exposed. I think white balance is looking good. Let's take a look at the presets. Whoa, look at that. That's the same one that we used last time, so that's AQ14.1. One click. Looking incredible. AQ14.2. Very, very cool. You can see the way that the border is affected by the image in this. I think it looks super nice. AQ 14.3. That's looking very good. AQ 14.4. AQ 14.5. And AQ 14.6. I think I'm going to go for either 5 or 6, but I think I quite like 5. Let's go for it. AQ 14.5 instant film preset. Got the instant film black and white profile, so let's have a look at that. We can either go for a more clean or a more stylized look with this. So actually the instant film look is actually helping to give a lot of pop to this. With that backlight, we're losing a lot of contrast, so actually increasing this, crushing the highlights, crushing the shadows, and adding some more contrast is really helping. So I'm going to crank that up to about 160. That's looking really nice to me. Again, we've got these really nice white borders included with the preset. Got some really lovely grain there. Super nice. We could go ahead and add a blue filter or an orange filter, but I think I'm going to leave this as it is because it looks really clean. But we've got that nice texture with the borders and the grain there as well. So I don't think I'm going to adjust the border with this. I like the placement. Again, this is something I love, the fact that the borders aren't perfectly straight, they're kind of slightly off. Again, if you shot instant film, this is the kind of effect that you get. Very, very authentic. So I really, really like this. This is the before, and this is after. That's with AQ 14.5. We've increased the instant film black and white creative profile. And we've got those incredible borders around the edge there, looking super, super nice. Brooke says, wow, gorgeous image. Rody already said 10 might look good with the orange filter. Honestly, everything looks good with the orange filter and the blue filter. I think the blue filter lends itself to sort of quite crisp looking, heavy contrast, crisp looking images, whereas the orange filter is great for anything that's a bit softer, a little bit more intimate like this. It definitely would work well. So again, lovely to have that flexibility, so you can just tailor each of the presets and send them whichever way you want to send them. Brooke says O2 caught my eye. Let's have a look. AQ 14.2. Oh, that was with the dark edges. Yeah, that did look really good. I'm going to show you something fun actually shortly in terms of the masking tools and what you're able to do with them. I'm not going to do it on this image, but I'll show you something fun that you can do with these. Wow, look at the grain on that. Amazing. Yeah, I agree. All right, 2 images down. Let me know if you want to see a particular image next. If not, we'll just dive back in and kind of go through them in order. Welcome for anyone just joining the stream. I'm Liam. Thanks for joining. We're part of the Archipelago Presets team here. I'm one of the developers. We create Lightroom presets and creative profiles for photographers, and in this live editing session we're editing with a new set that's due to launch next week. This is Quest 14 instant film black and white presets. These will be coming out on the 1st of March. You can either subscribe to our Quest subscription series, which is only $8 each month, and you get access to download the current month's presets for free. So if you were to subscribe now for $8, you'll get Quest 13 Intrepid, which is an incredible color and black and white set. And then on the 1st of March, you'll also get access to download this set, Quest 14. Or alternatively, if you're not into subscribing, you can also buy these standalone. So on the 1st, this will also be available as a standalone set on archipelagopresets.com. So definitely check those out when they land. But we're giving away a few of these sets during the stream. So if you're here and you like what you're seeing, all you need to do is be here throughout the stream, interact in the chat as we go through, and we'll be selecting some people to win this set at the end of the stream. So definitely stick around and definitely interact as we go through. If you have any questions as well, ask away. I'm happy to help. If you have any questions about editing, post-processing, Lightroom, all that kind of stuff, just ask away. All right, so we've got a few people selecting images. Let's have a look. Number 7, Royan Descartes. I don't know if this is your first and last name, but I'm going to call you Royan. Let's go for that. But you have selected 7, so let's do that next. Oh, in fact, no, you said 9. Sorry. All right, 9. Let's do 9. So I think a few people put this 999. Oh no, it's just Ryan choosing it multiple times. Thank you. Let's go with number 9. So we have this really gorgeous image here from Anne. This is a Canon photo. This is shot with a 50mm lens. So first thing I need to do with this is just bring the exposure up quite a bit. It's quite underexposed. So I'm just going to bring it up just to make sure that the subject is nicely exposed. It's looking a little cool as well, so I'm just going to warm it up a touch. Again, like I said, not a massive issue with the black and white, but it is worth getting the white balance as close to accurate as possible. So that's looking good. Let's take a look at the presets. Ooh, yeah, that's looking very nice. AQ14.1. AQ14.2, that's looking good actually, I really like that. AQ14.3, these all look so nice. This is preset 4, 5, which we just used on the last image, and 6. Ooh, that's a tough one. I think 2 is standing out to me. 2 or 6. I'm gonna go for 2. I'm gonna bring the exposure up a tiny touch more. Let's have a play around with the instant film creative profile. So I think based on this image, I'm going to bring the profile down a little bit just to bring a little bit more definition to the subject's face here. We start to lose a little bit of that just because they're small in the frame. So I'm going to bring it down a little bit like this. I'll go ahead and zoom in and show you the before and after. So we've lifted the exposure, we've applied AQ14.2, we've brought the instant film profile down. Just to show you again, if we wanted to play around with the borders on this, we can jump into the masking panel here. So it's this little circular icon at the top right of the develop module, and you'll see all of the masks that have been created to get this look. So lots of work has gone into creating this look. Richard, the set developer, spent a long time really looking at instant film and the effects that you get from it and emulating that in these presets. So just incredible, but it gives us the ability to go in and dial these. So let's have a look. I think the borders, mask 1 contains the borders in this set. So if we jump in here, and we can then go ahead and select each of these borders in turn. Alternatively, if we choose this mask and just click and drag on 1, it'll actually move all of the graduated filters in this particular grouping, so we can move them all at once, which is quite handy. So we can just move this up or down or over to the sides and kind of frame it exactly how we want, or you can select one and individually move that one up or down. So we could go for a little bit more of an intense look by bringing this up quite a bit at the bottom. We could also bring this in a tiny touch on the side there. Very, very cool. So there's before, big difference. There's the after. That's with AQ14.2. We've brought the profile down just to give a little bit more definition to the subject. And we've had a quick play around with the borders that are included with this in the masking panel. And there is the side-by-side. Just incredible how much it transforms the image. Super, super nice. I can see everyone loving on it in the chat. First and last name, sir. I thought it was. I couldn't figure out where it splits. Where does the first name end and where does the last name start? So I'm hoping I'm saying it right. Yeva's here, late to join, but excited to see the edits. Hey Yeva, thanks for joining. Well, look at the tone on this shot. Lovely. I love the mood of this image, definitely. We could actually look at the filters here as well. This is the kind of image that I actually think the blue filter works really nicely for. So this is the preset as it was. This is with the blue filter. So it just kind of adds that slightly cool tone into it, which I really like. I think for this, it suits it very well, especially based on the original unedited image. We've got quite a cool toned straight out of camera file there. Amazing. Okay, so let me know which image you want to see edited next, and I'm happy to do that. I'll just catch up on the chat in the meantime. Unet says, definitely my favorite black and white set. Yeah, 100%. The new 4x5 presets, Archipelago presets, that's one of my favorite sets of all time. And I think if I was to choose a black and white set or my favorite black and whites, this is definitely up there. These are incredible presets. Yeva says, ooh, so cool, no idea we can move them. Yeah, absolutely you can. yeah, that's the beauty of this masking panel. You know, it just gives so much control. You can go in and turn certain ones on or off. You can move them around. It just gives loads of flexibility. Can't do that with RNI Films presets. Hey, what can I say? What can I say? We're constantly trying to push the boundaries. Really, actually, that's what our Quest series of presets is about. We release a new preset every month as part of Quest. And really it's about us pushing the boundaries of what's possible, going down new routes of creative style. Creative profiles is something that we've been really passionate about for a number of years. Incredible what they allow you to do, and now with this masking tool that's been updated as part of Lightroom and Adobe Camera Raw, it just gives more flexibility. So we're always excited when these tools get updated and we can do more with them and provide more for you, the photographers that use them. So very, very exciting. So I think Kevin might be having some issues tuning in. Don't worry, Kevin, if it's not working for you right now, this will be available to watch post-stream. But if you can stick around and get it to work, that would be great, because then you will be in the running for the giveaway that we're doing at the end. All right, you have a selected image number 2, and then I think 7 is after that. So let's do 2 next. Another amazing image. This one's from Anne. So exposure is looking good, white balance is looking good. I don't think I'd change either of those two things. So we can go ahead and take a look at the presets. AQ14.1, AQ14.2, AQ14.3. Ooh, that's looking good. That's AQ14.4. That could be a contender. 5 looking nice. 6 looking very nice. I think 4 wins it. It just has a really mysterious kind of look. I think especially with the trees in the background, it's got almost a little bit of a misty look, and this just adds a lot of sort of ethereal style to this. So definitely AQ14.4. Again, look at that for 1 click. Absolutely incredible. You can see these sort of like smudges that appear sort of around here. You've got this nice big smudge here. You've got this kind of light leaky effect where the instant film hasn't taken. Super cool. Love this. So let's take a look at the profile. Instant film black and white, again set as 100 as default. We can decrease that to clean up the image and provide a little bit more detail, or we can increase it to really push that instant film look. So I think for this, maybe about there. So decreased it a little bit. It's 93, so it's set as 100 as default. So a tiny little drop in that, just to bring a little bit more detail out. Let's take a look at the blue filter and the orange filter. This again for me is one that if I was going to use it, I would use the blue filter. It just adds to the look of the image. I'm just going to bring the exposure up a tiny little bit, and that, I think, look at that, it's so nice. There's the side-by-side comparison. I'll just go ahead and zoom in and show you some of the details here, so you can see the nice grain that's applied here. Of course, you can go into the effects panel and you can adjust the grain if you need to, but I love the default grain that we're getting. And then if we move over to the edge, you can see this incredible effect with the masking down the sides. Got that hazing around here. Very cool. So we've got, I think 7 was the next image, so we'll do 7, and I think Brooks picked 4, so we'll do 7 and then 4. What version of Lightroom do these presets work with best? The latest versions, really. So I can't remember exactly which version it is, but one of the most recent versions introduced masking. You're definitely going to want at least that version, but realistically the latest version, ideally if you're on the subscription, you can just always update to the latest version, so you're never going to miss out. Again, with Quest, we really try and push the boundaries of what's possible, so sometimes a new tool will land as part of the update, and we'll be jumping on and trying to use that as part of the set. So it's really good if you can stay up to date to make sure you're getting the most versatility out of the sets as well. Murray says, these are beaut, Liam, really nice, thank you. Sitting here with those same AirPod Max on watching you. Oh yeah, loving the AirPods Max. So good. All right, so let's dive into another image here. We'll do 7 and then we'll do 4. So let me know after that what you'd like to see. So image number 7, this one's from Carlos. We've got this incredible photo here. I don't know if this has got maybe a filter or some sort of like plastic bag or something over the lens, but we've got this really nice soft effect to the raw file. This one was shot on Nikon, 85mm lens. Really, really gorgeous straight out of camera image. It's going to work really, really nicely with this set, I think. So I think in terms of exposure, it's possibly just a little overexposed, but we'll see what that looks like when we apply the presets. So just bring it down a little bit and we'll take a look. So AQ14.1. Yeah, it's definitely a little bright. Let's bring it down a bit more. AQ14.2. That's looking very nice. AQ14.3. AQ14.4. AQ14.5. And AQ14.6. All right, so let's see, what should we go for on this? I think I'm digging 6. So you can really see the creative profile, how much it adjusts this particular image. So we go from this with the profile set to 0, all the way to this with the profile increased all the way to 200. So again, loads of control to kind of get the look that you want. I quite like pushing it up a little bit on this image. Just adds a little bit more contrast. I'm just going to bring the exposure down a little bit as well. So one really nice thing that you can see with this particular preset, you have these scratches along the bottom here. You got some dust across the image there, as well as the borders and the sort of smudging around the edges here. A little bit of dust there. Loads of texture. Super, super cool. So I mentioned before, there's quite a cool thing that you can do with these presets because of the way that they use the masking tool. One option is just to apply multiple presets in succession. And because the masks will stack on top of each other, you can create some incredible, unique looking images. So totally different depending on the order that you apply them. So we've got this particular preset on here, so this is AQ14.6, but if I went ahead and applied another preset over the top, what it will basically do is, as well as applying the adjustments to all of the black and white tone mix and calibration and everything else, it will kind of adjust all those. It will stack the masks on top of each other, so you can create something totally unique. So I've just clicked like 4 different presets in a row, and the masking tool, the masking panel will look pretty crazy now because we've got all of this stuff going on. So quite a lot. But it's basically stacked those masks on top of each other. So we're mixing the effects. We can still see we've got the scratches and the dust, but we've now got the border from the first preset. We've got some of the shadowing and the smudges from the other presets there as well. So you just get this really, really interesting, really unique resulting image. So it's kind of cool because we don't really get the option to kind of get something random like you do when you shoot film. You might get light leaks, you might get, you know, developing issues and things, and it's kind of part of the fun sometimes when you shoot film that you don't really know what the result's going to look like. So I love this because you can just apply the presets in whatever order you want and then just find something totally unique and totally different. So I think this looks amazing. Here's the before and this is after. And this is with a whole bunch of presets from the AQ14 Quest 14 instant film black and white set stacked on top of each other. So the presets themselves, like I said, the black and white mix and the calibration and the tonality, they'll just replace each other as you go through each preset. But the masking tools will stack on top of each other and create something super, super cool. So I'll show you the side by side. Total transformation. I love this. Super nice. So Murray says, I always have issues getting them to import over to my iPad Lightroom as well. Any chat on that? Honestly, it's not something I use a massive amount myself. I don't really do much editing on my iPad. But I think it's just using the sync option at the top of here. But I think sometimes it can be a little slow in uploading those. But I think it's just something you have to wait for them to synchronize across as far as the images? Or is it the presets that you're asking about? If it's the presets, that might be a slightly different thing, so let me know. Love that dreamy look. Yes, absolutely, Lauren. Brooke says, love how the image sort of bleeds out of the border. Yeah, definitely. It's really interesting to see how the masks interact with the image. Every single photo will sort of look a little bit different in terms of the way that the mask interacts with it. And again, that's part of the fun. You can kind of get something that you don't really know what it's going to look like until you apply the preset, but I love these. I think that looks incredible. All right, so that was image number 7. I think 4 was the next pick after that. We've got 3, 5, 6, and 8 left. Oh, and 3 actually to do after that. So we'll keep rattling through them. So another image from Carlos here. Got this really gorgeous, I don't know what this is that the subject stood in front of, but very cool, very interesting backdrop with these big blocks of concrete. Love the pose as well. Light's looking really nice. So I think the exposure is probably a little tiny bit too high, but we'll probably just go ahead and apply the presets and check it out. So this is AQ14.1, AQ14.2, AQ14.3, AQ14.4, 5, and 6. So let's see. I think I'm digging 1 on this. I'm gonna go for 1, but I am gonna adjust the mask because it's just cropping in a slightly awkward place at the bottom here with the border. So I'm gonna jump into the mask tool. I'll locate the bottom border here, and I can now just drag that down. So if I pop that sort of halfway down the thigh there, I think that's gonna look good. Give a bit of breathing room between the shorts and the bottom of the frame. Blue filter, orange filter. I think orange filter could look quite nice on this, so let's go ahead and apply that. Take a look at the creative profile. Yeah, I think increase the creative profile quite a bit. Definitely looks really nice. I'm gonna bring the exposure down a tiny touch. And that is the edit. So there's before, and there's after. That's with AQ14.1 instant film black and white preset. Big increase on the creative profile just to push that instant film look, and we've added the orange filter just to give a little bit of warmth to the image as well. There's the side by side. All right, so let's go ahead and go through the rest of these images. So I'll just do these in order, 3, 5, 6, and then 8. Again, if you have any questions as we go through this, do throw them in the chat. Thank you, Murray, for throwing that one in there before. If you did have any issues with importing the presets and getting them to transfer over, just reach out to us at support. We can get you some help with that. But basically, you want to use the Lightroom CC application on desktop rather than Lightroom Classic CC. Because it's Lightroom CC that allows the presets to sync, so you'll want to install the presets over there and then allow them a few minutes or so to synchronize across, and that should get your presets across to the mobile version. All right, image number 3 here from Qin. Just going to bring the exposure down just a tiny little bit, just to make sure that the subject is nicely exposed. And let's decide on which preset. I think either 5. Yeah, 5 is the winner for me on this. Nice simple white borders around the edge there. Oh, I don't know which way. I think maybe decreasing the profile on this one looks quite nice, and I'll maybe bring the exposure down a little bit. Somewhere around there looks good to me. And then we've got the blue filter or the warm filter. I think the neutral toning of the preset looks nicest for this one. So there's before and there is after. Rodeo says, I've never used iPad to use presets on. I'll have to try that also. Yeah, if you add the presets to Lightroom CC on your desktop and just give them a few minutes to sync, they'll appear on Lightroom CC on either iPad or your phone. So one thing I love to do is when I'm snapping images with my phone camera, just stick them into Lightroom mobile app and all the presets are there. So again, these presets work really, really well for those types of images because you apply a real stylistic look in just one click. So if you don't want to be going through and doing loads of tweaking, but you want something that looks quite cool from the photos that you're editing on your iPad or your phone, it's great to synchronize these across. Adorito says, hi, I have a question. This preset is just for Quest, or I could use to Asteria. What do you mean by that, Adorito? If you can clarify. These presets, this is one of our Quest sets. So if you are a subscriber, you'll be able to download this set for free as part of your subscription. But you can also buy the Quest sets standalone as well. Asteria is part of our Archipelago presets collections, but this will be available to purchase standalone as well. So if you just clarify what you mean by that, and I can try and answer that for you. All right, so image number 5, this one over here. So I'm going to bring the exposure up a little bit there, bring the temperature up somewhere around that looks good to me. This is a tough one, but I think because the image is it's got quite a lot of negative space at the top, I quite like the clean look from AQ14.6. Just going to bring the exposure down a little bit there. We'll go ahead and adjust the creative profile. Yeah, I'm probably going to leave it roughly about where it was set. It's 113, so a little bit higher. And that looks really nice. We've got the blue filter or the orange filter. Again, I think if I was to choose, I'd probably get orange filter, but I actually really like the presets as they are. We could do some stacking on this. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. So this is AQ14.4. So if I apply that over the top, we get a little bit of this kind of shadowing and smudging on the edges. We can go back and apply AQ14.6 again. And now we've got sort of this crisp border around the edge, but we've got this light bleed and kind of the smudges and the shadowing from the other preset. So again, if I just play around with the, it's looking good. I'm going to go into the masking panel here, and I'm going to find the mask that I want. I think it's going to be down here somewhere. I think it's this one. Yeah. So I'm going to delete one of those, and I'm going to move this one around just because we've got a little bit of a scratch that was over the subject's face there. So I'm just going to move the dust and scratches over to the left just so it's not obstructing their face. And that looks super nice to me. Go ahead and zoom it in. I'll show you the subjects. That's before and that's after. And there's the side by side. So we've got a really nice grain texture there. If we scroll down towards the bottom, we've got the scratches and the dust introduced from this preset as well. We've got those dark borders, but also this sort of like light bleed and smudging around the edges from the other preset that we stacked as well. So just adds a nice little bit of visual interest there. You can layer the mask with Asteria for sure. Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to have these masks, you could apply that over the top. What it's basically going to do, because they're included with the preset, you basically want to apply the black and white preset with the masking in first, and then go to Asteria and apply whichever preset you'd like in terms of those color presets, which will then switch it back to color. It'll apply that sort of tonality, but it will keep the masking from this set. So you can definitely mix them like that. Rodeo Ready says black border looks great with that photo, helps bring out the shirt. Yep, definitely. All right, so one more portrait from Anne here. So I'm just going to bring the exposure down a little bit. Love this photo. Got this nice dark background, the subject lit in the foreground there. This is AQ14-1, AQ14-2, AQ14-3, AQ14-4, 5, and 6. I think 3 is standing out to me. There's just something about the way that we've got this kind of almost light leak on the edges and the bottom, a little bit up the top here as well. I think that looks really nice. Probably going to bring the profile down a little bit just so we get a little bit more definition to the subject. So if we increased it, it would really push that effect. But because I've got a very dark background, I think that gets a little bit too much. So I think bringing that down is helpful on this particular image. And I would probably go... Oh, I don't know actually. The blue filter looks really nice on this. Again, the blue filter in my mind tends to give a very sort of clean, sharp edit, whereas the orange filter has that warmth and romance to it. So I think for this, I really like the way the blue filter looks, but the orange does look really nice as well. But I think the blue one for me. Here's before, and here's after. That's with AQ14-3. We've decreased the profile, and we've chosen the blue filter there. This is the side by side. All right, so one image left to edit. I'm just going to catch up on the chat. Hi, I wanted to ask if there'll be a record of this transmission. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So you can watch this back as soon as the stream's finished. I think it'll just take a few minutes for it to process, but it'll be available to watch back anytime. So if you're joining late, thank you for joining. But stick around to the end while we're here live. But absolutely, you can watch this back. So if you missed the start, you can make sure you see that. After, just a reminder, these presets will be coming out on the 1st of March. Again, this is part of our Quest series. We bring out a new set as part of Quest every single month. And this set is the next one to come out. This is a black and white instant film inspired set. And this will be part of our subscription if you're already subscribed, or you can buy it standalone if you prefer to as well. So I've got this last image here from Blair. Lovely indoor portrait here. Just going to bring the exposure up a little bit. And let's take a look at the presets. AQ14-1 with that white border looking very nice. AQ14-2. I love the fact that it kind of transitions through having light colored borders and then dark colored borders and really heavy effects and sort of more subtle effects. Loads of variety in here. I think... I actually don't know. This is a tough one. It's between 6, which is this one with the black borders, or 5 with the white borders. Let me know what you think. 5 with the white borders or 6 with the black borders. Regnar says 5. Rodeo Ready says white border, which is 5 as well. All right, let's go for that one. Michael agrees. So although bringing the profile down lets you see a little bit more of the subjects in this, I really like the way that it looks when this is brought up a little bit. So I'm not going to go too crazy, but I think about 135 looks really nice. Just kind of mutes down the shadows here and just down here, which I really like. I think that looks lovely. I'm going to bring the exposure up a little bit more. Again, blue filter or the orange filter. I think the default preset looks nice. I quite like that sort of pop of white that we're getting, both from the border around it and also the white tonality in the image here with this sort of simple pale backdrop. So I quite like this. This is the before, and here's the after. there is the side-by-side. Murray says white border looks mutts nuts. Love that, great phrase. All right, amazing. So that's all 10 images edited. What I'm gonna do, I'll show you the side-by-sides of each of these edits, just to round the stream out. And then we'll be announcing some winners. So some people that are gonna win a copy of this set. So definitely stick around. But let's take a look at these. We'll look at some side-by-sides. Let's stick white borders on. Here we go. So this is the first image that we edited here. Absolutely amazing transformation. So Murray says, can the border be made more equal around the sides? Like equidistant? Yeah, absolutely. So I'll show you on this one. So if I go back into here, if we go into the masking tool, on this particular image, the borders, let's click into this one, I think they're here. So let's say, for instance, you wanted the sides to be in a little bit more to match the bottom there. You want to straighten them up. You can do that in here, so you can kind of play around with them. You can change, you know, the direction that they sit. You can click over on, I think it's this one, bring that out a little bit more. And again, you can straighten that up if you want to. And then we can choose the top one and bring that down. So yeah, you absolutely can do that. That's, again, the beauty of these masking tools. Just gives you the flexibility to go in and tweak these once you've applied the preset. So you can turn them off, you can move them around, you can get rid of certain ones. You could duplicate ones if you want a stronger look as well. And like I showed you before, you can choose multiple presets and stack up all the masking tools from each one and get something truly unique, really, really unique. So here's the side-by-side before and after of that image. Image number 2. Again, amazing transformation. Image 3, a little bit more simple. Image number 4. Image 5. Image 6. This is the one where we stacked a whole bunch of different presets on top of each other. So we've got loads of the masking tools mixed for something really, really unique. Again, just great to have something that's, you know, edging on film in terms of the amount of variety and uncertainty of what it's going to look like with your digital images, which is incredible. And that was the last image there. Boom. Let's have a look at the chat then. So, beautiful set, loving it. Thank you, Adam. Very cool preset, says Nola. Very excited for this to be released. Just in time for a project I'm starting. Todd, you're going to love it. These are incredible. Not long to wait, like I said, about a week. These come out the 1st of March. Oliver says, amazing presets. I love the 4x5 too. Yeah, 4x5 is a set that we released just a week or two ago. It's a large format inspired set. Again, it has masking tools in there for borders. It's very, very cool. There's color presets and black and white in there as well. Incredible sets. If you like what you've seen here, definitely check that out. Feel like 2022 is the year to bring back nostalgia with all these film sets. Yeah, absolutely, Brooke. Nostalgia is where it's at. And here we go. Lauren's announced the winners of the instant film black and white set. Ryan and Rodeo Ready, you are the winners. Big congratulations to you two. If you just send an email over to the email address that you see in the chat there, we'll get your prize over to you. But well done, you've won the set each. You're going to be getting instant film black and white before everyone else. Very, very exciting. Incredible. So that about wraps the stream up. Thank you so much to everyone for joining. It's been another amazing stream. First one on YouTube, so this has gone really, really well. It's nice to kind of see some new faces on here as well. So thank you for joining if this is your first time. We'll do these at least once a month. So definitely come back, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, just so you know when we're doing our next one. And we've also got our incredible Facebook community. So if you look for Archipelago Presets on Facebook, you can join our community over there, see some incredible work by the community. There is some absolutely astounding work. I mean, we've seen some of it here today, but honestly, the work in there is so good. We've also got our forum as well. So if you check out the links on our Facebook page, you'll see links to the forum and obviously our Instagrams. There's loads of great places to kind of see more of what we're up to. But check out these presets. These come out on the 1st of March. This is a counterpart set to a color set that came out a few months ago as well. So we've also got that. If you like what you've seen, but you want some color ones, you can do that there as well. Tag us on Instagram, Archipelago Presets. If you've got Archipelago sets and you're editing with them, we'd love to see those on there as well. So definitely share those. But that's been it for this stream. Great to see you all on here. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you in the next one.